Hello everyone and welcome to Procurement in the Park. I'm Christian Schuh and today I'm going to road test two new chatbots to see to which extent they are ready for CPOs to incorporate them into their digital procurement toolkit. One is OpenAI's ChatGPT, the digital content generator that is taking the world by storm. The other is Microsoft's New Bing search engine, which features an advanced version of ChatGPT. If you've read my new book, Profit from the Source, which is published by Harvard Business Review Press, you will know that I and my co-authors from Boston Consulting Group emphasize the transformative impact of digital procurement. And if you watched my recent video on ChatGPT, you'll know that I think that this chatbot really does have significant potential as a tool for companies looking to automate the routine communication with the bulk of their suppliers. The bulk meaning the 95% on the left-hand side of the supplier relationship management framework, who offer little or no strategic value. The question is, are ChatGPT and Microsoft's New Bing ready for use by corporate procurement functions today? Are they ready for prime time? My answer is a cautious yes for some things and a pretty firm no for other things. I've reached this conclusion by conducting a review that involved setting the two chatbots the same three tasks and assessing their responses. Let me take you through the review. The first and most important task was to draft a letter from a buyer in the automotive industry to one of its suppliers of printed circuit boards or PCBs. I gave the chatbot a significant amount of material to work with. So in a sense, the task was primarily to package my jumble of facts and figures into a coherent professional document. Specifically, the letter needed to first inform the supplier that they would be losing 15% of the business they normally received from the car maker because of poor performance during the last quarter. Second, encourage the supplier to get back on track. ChatGPT took just 32 seconds to draft the letter. That, I have to say, was pretty impressive. In that short space of time, the chatbot managed to incorporate most, also not all, of the critical information I had given it. Strangely, however, it added a weird piece of information that I had not given it. We understand that the pandemic has affected many businesses, including yours, it said. Who knows how this statement came to be included in the letter? Maybe it is triggered by the fact that the most recent training data ChatGPT has been fed with is from the height of the pandemic. But currently, in Q1 of 2023, this is quite irrelevant and not at all helpful. Nevertheless, overall, I think ChatGPT delivered a decent performance. The letter was certainly good enough as a first draft. I do think, therefore, that CPOs can start to trial this chatbot as a way of freeing up the precious time that procurement managers currently waste on preparing letters to run-of-the-mill suppliers. Now the New Bing, how did it perform? It was noticeably slower than ChatGPT in completing the set task, a whole minute longer. Perhaps this was because the search engine was working away in the background. On the other hand, it incorporated all of the critical information, unlike ChatGPT. For example, I told the chatbot that the supplier had slipped down the company's supplier rankings from number 2 to number 4. And while this important fact was missing from ChatGPT's letter, New Bing did incorporate it. Also, where New Bing did add new material, the additions were largely appropriate and added value. For example, it gave specific reasons for why the buyer was unhappy with the supplier's performance. The drops in performance are significant and unacceptable to us, as they affect our production efficiency and customer satisfaction. And as this sentence shows, New Bing's letter struck a stern, tough note, certainly tougher than ChatGPT's letter. On reading the document, the supplier would have been left in no doubt about the views of the customer, the car maker. So I think New Bing performed this first task clearly better than ChatGPT. I then asked two supplementary questions designed to elicit some new information and save the time that procurement managers so often spend on routine market research. One question was, are there any recent developments in the PCB industry that I should consider? The other question was, which other industries beyond the automotive industry are using PCBs and what is the market size? Before starting this part of the road test, I fully expected New Bing to perform better than ChatGPT. After all, it is not just a chatbot, but can also rely on a search engine. Finding relevant information on the internet is what Bing was built to do. In fact, neither New Bing nor ChatGPT performed particularly well. They each gave rather woolly, generalized answers. When answering the first question, they interpreted recent developments as trends. I was looking for answers with more newsy, up-to-the-minute intelligence. By the way, the right answer would have said something like, since their biggest customers, the big personal computer companies, have suffered a massive 20 to 30% decline in business, the PCB suppliers are hungry for new customers from other industries. So my overall assessment of ChatGPT and New Bing is this. They are perfectly serviceable as time-saving tools for preparing the first drafts of letters to the 95% of suppliers who offer no or little strategic potential. But they are not yet reliable enough as market researchers. Over time, however, we should expect that especially New Bing and other chatbots that are linked to a search engine will become effective and therefore essential digital tools for use cases in procurement that go beyond crafting messages to suppliers. That's because they are pieces of machine learning technology. By definition, they will learn, improve and get better as more people use them. Also, investors are plowing billions of dollars into chatbot development. As The Economist noted recently, investors are going nuts for ChatGPT-ish artificial intelligence. Indeed, around the world, there are reportedly more than 500 generative AI startups that have collectively attracted more than $11 billion of investment. And this does not include the $11 billion that Microsoft has put into OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT. So the future looks bright. And this is why CPO should keep a watchful eye on developments. You still here? So I guess you're interested in the bonus track. So let me share a cautionary, albeit amusing tale. OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, and Microsoft warn users that some answers might be wrong. And at the top of the New Bing homepage, Microsoft has published a disclaimer. Bing is powered by AI, so surprises and mistakes are possible. Make sure to check the facts. And they are doing this for a good reason. Last week, I asked New Bing what I thought was a very simple question. I heard about a YouTube channel called Procurement in the Park, I began. Does this channel contain any relevant content that could help me in answering my question about what car makers can learn from tech companies? In its response, New Bing started promisingly. Procurement in the Park is a YouTube channel created by Christian Schuh. So far, so good. And then came the surprise. It said that I am a former partner at McKinsey. Now believe me, I have nothing against McKinsey. Some of my friends work there. But given that I work at Boston Consulting Group and I've never worked at McKinsey, this was not the answer I had expected. And mind you, the answers are presented in a very confident manner. It was a reminder to me that the human dimension will remain critically important in an increasingly digital age. Yes, generative AI will help CPOs reallocate resources by reducing the number of people needed to work on admin activities and refocusing the procurement function on strategically important suppliers. But as I say in my book, Profit from the Source, AI is best understood as augmented intelligence rather than artificial intelligence. In other words, AI, such as chatbots, work best when they support rather than supplant the humans working in the procurement function. Thank you for watching. I'm Christian Schuh, and this is Procurement in the Park.